Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to your 2021 GVATA Midwinter Conference. Our goal this evening is to deliver the most important and relevant business and information pertaining to your profession in the most timely manner possible. Tonight you will hear remarks from State CTA Director Dr. Barbara Wall, National FFA Advisor Dr. James Woodard, and National FFA President Mr. Doss Harper. Agriculture education and FFA staff reports will be delivered by Mr. Billy Hughes and Mr. Ben Lashley. We will also hear reports concerning finance, membership, GVATA, PRC, and the tactical plan reports. And regional meetings will begin immediately following the business session. To begin tonight's meeting, I would like to ask Dr. Walt Parks to give an invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come before you today. We thank you for this day that we're gathered together. We just thank you for everyone here. We ask that you bless them and their families. We thank you that everything that is done will be done to please you. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Now, on behalf of Career, Technical, and Agriculture Education, here is State Director Dr. Barbara Wall.
Thank you, Nelson McCracken, for inviting me to bring greetings from the Georgia Department of Education. As your leadership team was planning today's conference, I offered them my crystal ball to use. Some of your leaders took the crystal ball and asked, "Crystal ball, oh crystal ball, should we have an in-person midwinter GVATA conference or a virtual one or none at all?" The answer from the crystal ball was clear. Be patient, be cautious, go with a virtual conference. So now you know why today's conference is virtual. The crystal ball provided some input to your leadership team. On a more serious note, this time last year, we had no idea of the challenges we would face during 2020. Georgia CTAE chose to look beyond the challenges and to seek innovative ways to continue educating Georgia's future workforce. Earlier this year, we asked our CTE Commission, our Business and Industry Advisory Council, our CTAE directors, counselors, and teachers to provide input on current CTAE practices that could use a good dose of innovation. Our legislators, business partners, and educators are divided into work groups addressing innovation in 4 different areas: work-based learning, credentialing, entrepreneurship, and virtual learning. Over the next few months, these groups will work to provide recommendations for innovation in these areas. I will share their recommendations with you at summer conference. You know, we are all eager to emerge from this pandemic and go back to normal, to return to those in-person conferences full of valuable information, but also full of handshakes and hugs. Superintendent Woods recently stated there is a normal that we cannot and should not go back to. He outlines this in a document that he recently introduced, and this document is a roadmap to reimagining K-12 education. I encourage you to take time to read over the document. You can find it on our Georgia Department of Education website. As a strong supporter of CTAE, Mr. Woods has been very inclusive of CTAE in his roadmap, and he shows his strong, unwavering support for our teachers and his commitment to students of Georgia when he reimagines K-12 education. I know this year has been full of challenges. Georgia Ag teachers have gone above and beyond to meet these challenges. As you may have heard in the State of the State address by Governor Kemp recently, he stated that he and Superintendent Woods are partnering to provide a one-time $1,000 bonus payment to every K-12 public school teacher and school-level staff member in the state. This is their way of showing appreciation and providing encouragement for your extraordinary work at meeting the challenges of this year. Thank you, Ag teachers, for a job well done. I hope you will enjoy your conference, and please feel free to call on me and my staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wall. Now we will hear from National FFA Advisor, Dr. James Woodard.
GVATA members and guests, Thank you for inviting me to be a part of your virtual conference. And wow, how things have changed since the last time I visited you a year ago. We can definitely all say that our professional learning for Zoom or Microsoft Teams has definitely been stretched this past year. But I absolutely know one thing has remained constant, and that is your support, guidance, and leadership for your ag education students and FFA members. And I thank you for that. And I'm very, very proud of the fact that Georgia's ag education program is one of the absolute best in the nation. First, allow me to congratulate a recent appointment to the National FFA Board. I'm very proud to announce, as you may already know, that Mr. Ben Lashley has been appointed to the National FFA Board. I can tell you that I am very proud of this young man. I was a part of the team that hired him I can't remember how many years ago, but his dedication and focus to his work is as strong as anyone I know, and I appreciate Ben and the contributions that he's made to Georgia's ag education program. Also very proud of Dr. Eric Rubenstein in his second year of board service. I recently asked Dr. Rubenstein to pick up and lead the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Subcommittee of the board. Our goal at this point in time with Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity is to create a process which will help our board create guiding principles that is garnered from a very inclusive nature of all of our stakeholders and will provide a very positive trajectory for our organization in the future. I thank both of you, Dr. Rubenstein and Mr. Lashley, for helping lead our great organization on a national level. Now, I know there may be a few questions regarding recent changes at the National FFA Center. What I want you to know today, is that the National FFA organization is on solid foundation and has a very positive trajectory for the future. Therefore, you may ask what we should all do during this time of transition. I ask you to do three things. Number one, stay focused on supporting local FFA members and agriculture teachers. That is the backbone of this organization and should always be at the front of what we focus on doing every day. Number two, we really just need to make sure that we provide a very unified environment and that we stay unified as a profession during this time. And number three, look at how we can further engage and re-engage supporters for the sole purpose of meeting our vision and our mission. So you might ask, what's the next step? My advice as the National FFA Advisor, simply stated, is on a daily basis, we should all work to be the very best version of ourselves. If we do this, we continue through this transition, we unify ourselves and re-engage supporters, and we maintain our focus on helping students, we will lead other student organizations and be able to accomplish the task at hand, and that is making the difference in the lives of students. That's been my mission from the very get-go, is to make the difference in the life of a student to the same degree that my ag teachers made in my life. I appreciate them for that, and your students will appreciate you for that. You'll have a great conference. I look forward to seeing you in person very soon. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Woodard. Dr. Marcus Pollard will now bring remarks and make a special introduction.
It is a pleasure to be able to address you all today at this Midwinter Conference. I would like to thank the members of GVATA for entrusting me to serve as your president-elect. Serving on the GVATA board has been an eye-opening experience for me over the past 3 years. When attending the regional and national conferences, it's quite common to hear representatives from other states reference Georgia and what they hope their agricultural education program can be. It's more common than you would think, and certainly more common than I can express here today. Agricultural education in Georgia is something we should all be very proud of, and be more excited about the possibilities of the future. I encourage all members to give serious thought to becoming more involved with GVATA. I'm proud of the work this board has done, and I'm proud to be a part of it. If I can ever be of assistance to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you. And it is now a sincere pleasure of mine to introduce to you the 2020-2021 National FFA President, Mr. Doster Harper.
Thank you, Dr. Pollard, and greetings, Ag teachers. I'm Doster Harper, President of the National FFA Organization, and I'm honored to help welcome you to the 2021 Midwinter Ag Teachers Conference. I call it a privilege to get to call the great state of Georgia home, but my National Officer teammates and I just relocated to the great city of Indianapolis to begin our training for the 2020-2021 National Officer Year. As part of our first week of training, my teammates and I made it a priority to get to know each other. So the guys on our team, David, Paxton, and I, invited the girls over to our apartment for supper one night, and we decided we were going to cook for them. And it was Tuesday, so as most people like to do, we decided we'd have Taco Tuesday. David, Paxton, and I went to Aldi's on a grocery run. We got ingredients for tacos, and David said, because he's of Hispanic heritage, he was going to make authentic Mexican tacos like his mom makes back home in California. Paxton and I said that, well, if David's going to make it this great priority to make excellent tacos, then we're going to go out of our way to make this a grand production. We're going to make it live up to the hype of these great tacos. So Paxton makes this really good pineapple and mango salsa from scratch, ingredients that he got at the grocery store. And because I'm not a great cook myself, I didn't add anything to the cooking, so I decided to make the ambiance my job. I set the tables, I put the forks on the left, the spoons and knives on the right like you're supposed to. I folded napkins, put them in the glasses, put the glasses on the table. We dimmed the lights, we had music playing in the background. We made it a priority for us to make this dinner a special one, and we invited the girls over and we had a great time. And a lot of us in our lives can fall under two categories, hosts and guests. And as silly as it may have sounded, the guys on our team enjoyed being good dinner hosts. As ag teachers, I think we have a similar decision to make that Paxton and I faced whenever David was making those really good tacos. We can decide to be either hosts or guests for our students. When we think about a dinner party, what does a host look like? A host is someone who goes out of their way to make others feel comfortable, to connect with them. And I think the main thing that students across this entire country and the state of Georgia are craving right now is connection. As ag teachers, we have the great opportunity to make that connection feel like it's there and it's present, even though that may look a little bit different this year. So what does connecting in 2021 look like? For ag teachers, it may look like a virtual SAE visit to make sure that students are still going strong with their projects. It may look like sending a handwritten note to our chapter officer team to offer them a little bit of encouragement, even though the year may look a little bit different. And it may also look like giving a student a phone call when we know they may be going through a pretty tough time right now. Regardless of what that connection looks like, I believe that we can all make that a priority to this year, and I encourage you to find ways to connect with your students, both inside and outside of the classroom. I believe in you all. I thank you all so much for the incredible work that you are doing and that you're continuing to do. I thank you for making your communities a better place to live, especially during these times. I wish you all the best of luck this year, a happy and healthy 2021, and I hope you all enjoy a great conference. Thank you all so much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Doss. Next on the agenda is the state staff report with Mr. Billy Hughes.
Good afternoon. I want to thank the GVATA board for allowing me to be a part of today's program. On behalf of the Georgia Agricultural Education State Program staff, I am honored to bring you greetings today. It is hard for me to believe that we have had to change our messaging and delivery platform since the onset of COVID-19 almost 1 year ago. The past months, like no other time in history, has seen more change in daily practices and technology use than at any other time. And many moments of that time has been filled with uncertainty and constant change. Now, as we begin to look at the current challenges that we're facing, undoubtedly we have to begin with the COVID-19 impact on our Ag Ed program. While uncertainty is the norm of today, we do know that COVID-19 has the possibility of impacting our FFA membership and student participation, young farmer membership and adult participation, overall current teacher morale and support, retention and recruitment of new teachers, how we distribute technology, and how do we integrate that into our curriculum. And it's had a significant impact on our FFA camp and the FFA Foundation. The camp has done a tremendous job in trying to recoup some revenue that they lost. They've had a camp carry-out meal program where they're selling meals to the community. They've offered day camps in hunter safety, equine management, and cooking classes. The foundation also is facing a lot of uncertainties. How do we continue to fundraise in the era of COVID? How is the gala going to be conducted? Will we be able to hold sporting clays in the future? And how about corporate support? Also, they are turning online into digital sales to raise money. But both the camps and the foundation are trying to find ways in order to make sure they have the money to operate. Currently also, a challenge is with the budget. You know, in the past, we've increased our programs between 12 and 17 per year in the middle and high school levels. This year, we don't know if we'll be able to increase or if there will even be an increase. What we are asking is that if your system is going to increase the number of ag teachers, to let us know by January 22nd so that we can hopefully provide funding through the legislative process. Our other challenge when it deals with the budget has been with the operational expenses of the FFA centers in Georgia. Since March of 2020, the camps have lost approximately 32, or have had about 32,000 cancellations, known cancellations of people who were going to attend or be present at some function. Close to $3 million in lost income has occurred, and because of that lost income, we've had to lay off a few of our employees. I am very thankful, though, that both of our camp managers were able to stretch out 3 months of reserve funding to over 6 months until the point in time when the superintendent of schools, Mr. Richard Woods, gave us $1.5 million in CARES fund to try to make up for some of the losses. I know that our losses have been closer to $3 million, but $1.5 million is going to make a difference in the operations of the camps and at least being able to employ some folks to keep them updated and renovated. The legislature also last year provided $5 million in construction funds, and we're very thankful for that. Now, as we go into the FY22 year, some capital improvements that we had started on that we would like to continue with, but they're going to take money, would be $5.8 million for the completion of renovation on Mobley Hall, and then about $903,000 to finish 2 cabins at Camp John Hope in Fort Valley. So those would be budgetary. The next thing we're looking at is future initiatives. While I'm not an advocate of always increasing the size of our state staff, I do think there are some needs that are there. First need would be the funding of additional state FFA office person. You've heard me talk about this many times before, that whenever I was in high school in the 80s, there was 3 people and less than 10,000 FFA members. Today we have 73,000 FFA members, and we still have 3 people. So to make that office a little bit more efficient and to be able to deal with some of the matters that we have going on with this COVID situation, I think it'd be easier with an additional person. Also, we're looking to fund a part-time administrative assistant for the North Region and Central Region offices. This will be one salary for 2 people. Part-time help in the North Region, 50% of the time, 50% of the time in the South Region. I know there'll be 2 different people, but remember, there's only one salary there. And then again, back to the same request that I had last year, would be a funding for an urban-suburban specialist position. I envision that this person, as we move into the urban-suburban areas, that this person will help us develop curriculum and professional learning related to that position, the development of an artificial intelligence curriculum, but then I also envision 2 other things. We currently have 7 classes that count towards a 4th science credit, and we need to increase that because I believe our classes encompass as much science as any of the others. But also, we are lacking in rigorous science level classes. Our students who are planning on going to regional colleges, research universities, they're being hindered by a 4th science credit. And we don't have any of those 4 science credit classes. So our students we're losing our students in junior, senior year to those science classes. We need to add at least 3 to 4 of our classes as a rigorous science requirement in order to retain those students. And that is something that I'm going to ask this new person to do. Now, I want you to continue in your mind thinking about this urban-suburban specialist as I go through the next few slides. Many of you probably have heard that the governor and the lieutenant governor is working on innovation areas within the state. Well, what is innovation? Innovation is the creation of something new that improves the way we live or creating significant positive change. There's an innovation center that is being developed in Gwinnett County, and one in Middle Georgia, and one in South Georgia. The reason for this, Lieutenant Governor Duncan has an innovation task force, and they have as a vision for Georgia to be known as the technology capital of the East Coast. In order to do that, we've got to include a pathway in our pathway list of pathways that will meet that requirement. And I think that goes back to what I've talked about the last couple of years with the artificial intelligence pathway. If you look at this map is intended to tell you about the population changes in Georgia. It appears, based on the U.S. Census Bureau and the Office of Planning and Budget for the Governor's Office, they are projecting by 2050 the counties that are in blue to have a population increase between 75 and 225%. Those counties include Paulding, Cherokee, Forsyth, Dawson, Gwinnett, Barrow, Jackson, Banks, White, Oconee, and Long. Now, we have ag programs in those areas, but as we get expansion from the urban suburban areas and we get different people in those areas, we're going to need a curriculum that will meet the needs of those individuals. Again, this is where the artificial intelligence curriculum will come from. All right, we have some trusted partners in Georgia. This next part is going, later on today you will hear some remarks from Darrell Baxley, and these are going to kind of echo what he's going to tell you. But for many, many, many years, the Georgia ag education community has had some trusted partners. The Georgia General Assembly has been really good to us, and Mr. Woods has been good to us. Not only did he commit $800,000 to extended day and extended year for ag teachers last year, he has made that same commitment again for FY22. These folks have really worked with us, and we really appreciate them doing that. But also, as we go through the next one, I want to talk to you a little bit about politics, whether at local or state level. Now, later on today, as I said, you're going to hear from Darrell Baxley, the PRC chairman, and he's going to update you on some legislative initiatives. But now, I'm going to make a plea to each one of you that every one of you must build political relationships with your senator and representative. Every one of you has been fully funded based on your LEA request with extended day and year for the last 2 years. Hopefully that will not change anytime soon. I also want to talk to you a little bit about political affiliation. Political affiliation should not be a limited factor when promoting ag education in Georgia. We as ag teachers promote students, and they have no say-so in voting privilege or choice until they are 18. Do not allow your political affiliation to close door if your representative and or senator is of the opposite party of your affiliation. So what I am pleading with you is that you build those relationships with everybody that you come in contact with that has political clout. Why? Remember I told you last year that the ag ed budget is a line item in the state budget, which equals discretionary funds that can be used at a political will. Political will means whoever the ruling party, whatever they want to spend that money on. It is not guaranteed like the state salary schedule. It is always easier for Joel, for Darrell, for any one of us to work with legislators when we can tell them, well, we know the ag teacher in your community. If they know you, they're able to put a face with that name, and they're more apt to pay attention to what we're asking. Okay. The next thing that I think is essential is that you document. I've told you this before. I know that that the only thing that you hate more than lesson planning is monthly reports. But guys, we've got to be able to document all of our activities and be visible working with students in the community. Please document your self-worth to your community, even in virtual activities, because you are essential to what's going on in that community. And the last one about evaluation and tradition. Guys, I've shown you this before. I do believe in compassion over compliance, but that does not mean that we have to be complacent. In order to accomplish the Ag Ed mission, the FFA mission, and the FFA motto, we must adhere to our program standards for continuous improvement. Our three-ring model of education must continue. We've used it for 103 years. It has served us well. Program of work, standards, and assurances. GVA and the state staff are working on ways to help you meet program goals in a quality manner. Each region office staff will work to help each person. Now, I have been asked many times about the program of work standards and how they will impact individual extended day and extended year funding next year. Let me offer this to you. We cannot do away with the program standards evaluation. Georgia Ag Ed is legislatively required to report information to the Office of Planning and Budget every year. However, you should know that we are working with OPB, the DOE Policy and Accounting Office, and the Georgia General Assembly's Budget and Accounting Office to help those who have done all they could. All of the government agencies know that local systems and parents govern how and what you can do to fulfill your job responsibilities. If you do all you can do to meet every standard, document honestly, and keep your region office informed, believe me, we will have your back during the evaluation process. My third bullet, you need to hold on to the ag ed tradition of supporting our profession. Never forget our roots or the ideals that gave rise to our strong organization. Embrace our heritage of being united in supporting each other. If you have been in the ag teaching profession for 25 or more years, you were involved with the Ag Ed audit of 1995. At that time, funding was almost stripped from ag education because of an audit conducted by OPB and the legislative offices. Now, as you can imagine, if the stripping of funds had happened, how negatively that would have impacted our program and our teachers. However, when that audit occurred, a unified group of ag teachers redefined our meaning and purpose for our work. They developed a quality control measure through the program standards and supported each other to clarify our mission forward. Now, I ask you today that you do the same thing during this COVID pandemic. It is said that people can only see their situation and desire. Until control of the pandemic occurs and people do not live in a constantly changing life, fluctuating life, and fear for life, you need to know that we are doing our very best in these unprecedented times. Nothing has been fair to any majority during this pandemic. Many have lost potential memories due to the virus, such as being able to walk across the stage in Indianapolis to receive their American FFA degree. Likewise, our teachers have lost family members and friends. They've lost future memories. Also, a few of our ag teachers have been told that if they contract the disease, they will definitely die. Definitely, if this happens, no more memories for them. So, I ask you, no matter how you see things locally, others may see a different perspective locally because of their situation. We all want what is best for our students and our community, but we are all doing the best we know how to do in the current situation. Knowing that this will end, please stay on course, support each other, and be a community of one for Team Ag Ed. All right, these are your region folks. Again, as you go ahead into the evaluation season, please make sure you utilize them and keep them informed of what's coming up next. Now, I'm going to go over some quick executive directors notes. First one up, it will be Krista Steinkamp. As you know, Krista is working with the elementary, middle school, and high school curriculums. This is a slide here of what she's working, but one of the things that she is spearheading is the Ag Trade Talks for counselors. You guys know as well as I do, counselors make all the difference in what decisions parents and students choose as far as career paths or career decisions. We held our first Ag Trade Talks back in November. It was sponsored by the Cattlemen's Association, Cotton Commission, Milk Producers, and Peanut Commission, and we had over 160 high school counselors learning about agriculture, hearing your story, and hopefully promoting our students going into our career field. Krista's also been working with Georgia Farm Bureau Foundation Board on the elementary trailer. If you ever get a chance to see it, please visit it. We are considered a sponsor to that. As you exit, you will take a career assessment that has Georgia Ag Education and FFA names on it. She's also placed all the elementary curriculum onto our web page and onto a YouTube site. Krista has just finished working on developing a poultry science pathway. There's two new poultry science classes that have been developed. One is poultry science and the other one is avian science and biotechnology. She's worked with business and industry, UGA, University of North Georgia, and Athens Tech in order to get this written and ready. She's also continuing with the distance learning activities and is trying to help the region offices coordinate through LDEs and CDEs virtually. Our next executive director is Katrina Jones with the Georgia FFA Foundation. Katrina reports that for the 2019-2020, they raised a little over $1.7 million. This makes them $1 million foundation for the third year in a row. The ladies have done well with this, and we do appreciate the effort for our students. The Support Georgia Ag campaign has raised over $23,000. That's the T-shirts that were sold through the foundation. New designs and merchandise will be released online beginning January 24th. Some good items for you to purchase and also support the foundation. The Gift of Blue program donated over 80 FFA jackets across the state. And the 14th annual Blue and Gold Gala is scheduled for Friday, March the 5th. Ford has again generously donated a 2021 F-150 to be auctioned off during the live auction. And if your chapter would like to donate any items, please contact the foundation. Items that students make seem to sell very well, and they will take anything that you have available. Next, we have Martin with the Adult Education and Professional Learning part of Ag Ed. His first slide is talking about the Young Farmer Program. To date, there are 60 Georgia Young Farmer programs in our state, with the possibility of us opening up 3 to 4 new programs next year. The 51st Georgia Young Farmer Virtual Convention will be January 29th. Young farmers, you have been contacted by Martin about this virtual convention, but if you have any additional questions, please contact Martin. Legislative Day at the Capitol will be February 10th, and he will send out details about protocols for that event for this year. And then on June the 18th through the 19th, Dr. Nichols and the Tift County Young Farmers will host a summer tour. With the alumni, please, if you're looking for a booster club or someone to help support your chapter, consider initiating a local FFA alumni chapter. The website or Martin can give you more information about how to do that. Alumni rosters were due December the 1st. If you haven't submitted, please send them to Joy Crosby. The Georgia Ag Ed Hall of Fame will be held during the Georgia FFA Convention. Check the FFA or the alumni website to make nominations for the Hall of Fame. And then their alumni golf tournament is scheduled for June 4th at Lane Creek Golf. And our last director will be Todd Teasley with Facilities and Leadership Development. We are planning for summer leadership camp, but just know it is going to look different. Capacity will be limited. All program aspects will be evaluated by a safety team to ensure the safety of our staff, of our students, and of all of our teachers. There's going to be a new registration process for this next year. On February 24th, we will begin pre-registration, and you get to choose your week. On March the 24th, registration will begin, and you will submit your numbers, and no deposits will be required this year. Go to georgiaslc.org for more details, information, or contact Todd, Russell, or Casey with whatever questions you have. At this point in time, I just want to say I appreciate you giving me your time listening. Guys, we have to support each other, and we'll get through all of this. I hope that you stay safe, your family stay safe, and if there's anything that we can do for you, please do not hesitate to call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. And now the FFA report with Mr. Ben Lastly.
Hello, Ag teachers. It's a pleasure to be with you as part of this virtual Midwinter GVATA Conference. I'm excited to bring to you an FFA report. I want to begin with FFA membership and talking to you about where we are with this year. FFA membership as of January the 15th, I'm proud to say, is up over 50,000, just over 50,000, and we know we're going to get a second semester bump of more students. So we encourage you to continue to put your new students into your enrollment and FFA roster. For you high school chapters, your second semester invoices will be available to you on March the 29th online. Make sure that you have your enrollment finished by March 29th so that those the enrollment invoices can be accurate. March 29th is your deadline. Have your enrollment done. That's when you'll see your invoice. Middle school chapters, you have your invoice from the beginning of the year. If you're completely paid, then you're taken care of. If you've paid half, then you'll owe your second half in this second semester. Spring affiliation payments are due to the FFA office by April the 15th. So when you get your invoice at the end of March, you've got to the middle of April to make your payment. We do encourage you, remember, to list all students in your classes on your Ag Ed enrollment in your online program. Make sure to complete your online enrollment declaration by March 29th. That's how we know when you're finished and to submit your invoice. State FFA Convention. We got a lot of questions about how that may look. And like a lot of other things we're dealing with this spring, this is going to be a little bit fluid. This is our plan today. We hope it will work. Should something change, we'll make sure to let you know. But the plan is that we'll have a convention on the original 3 days we have booked, and that's April the 22nd through the 24th. The first 2 days of that will be a virtual recognition event, similar to what you may have experienced last May if you were in our program. The 22nd and 23rd, we'll do virtual recognitions, and on Saturday the 24th, for everyone who can and will, we're going to do our best to have a one-day event in Macon, and we'll get you more details about exactly what that will look like as we get closer. Chapter registration fee. Last year, chapters were not asked to pay anything for the virtual convention. We are going to ask for some level of fee as we shape what this convention will exactly look like. I'll share more information with you, but there is going to be some chapter fee. It will not be more than what you paid in the past. It will likely be considerably less, but we are going to ask that chapters put some money toward funding this virtual or hybrid event. The career show is going to, at best, be a virtual option, and we'll get you more information as we are able to finalize that. Days of service, we're not going to gather and do in person. We're going to encourage chapters, if you can, when you can, to do local service projects and share those stories with us so that we can promote the fact that chapters are doing days of service in their communities. And student workshops is something we were excited to add last year. We're not able to do that. We're going to consider those virtual options for this year. So that's what I can tell you about the convention. We're looking at a hybrid event. Excited to be able to offer that to you and your students in April. Be on the lookout for more information as we head closer to the state convention. I know you've got a lot of questions about career development events and leadership development events. Back in the summer, we offered you the schedule with these CDEs and LDEs being in groups or pods. The schedule has obviously had to change for the state events. I'm proud to tell you that we put a lot of time and thought into keeping those groupings together as we told you they would be back in the summertime. We've reallocated dates. And as I mentioned with the convention, anything can still happen. If we realize there are some major issues, we may have to regroup again. But right now, this is our plan. March the 20th is a Saturday. We will gather at the FFA FCCLA Center in Covington and do these events: agricultural communications, agricultural education, ag mechanics, environmental natural resources, floral design, and livestock evaluation. Originally, poultry was listed there. That still may happen. We're working with the University of Georgia. If there's a way for that grouping, that partner of ours, to be engaged in that, then we'll do that in person. If not, that event will be virtual, and we'll get you more information about that as we get closer. The next Saturday is March the 27th. We'll go to Camp John Hope, and the events that you originally saw for February will be moved to the March the 27th date at Camp John Hope. Ag technology and equipment ID, forestry, land evaluation, lawnmower operations, nursery landscape, and veterinary science. That exact same pod of events will just move to the March 27th date at Camp John Hope. On April the 17th, we will gather again at the camp in Covington. We skipped 2 Saturdays. Let me give you a little bit of understanding why. After the 27th, the next weekend is Easter weekend. We felt it best to avoid that weekend if we could. The next weekend after that is April the 10th. That's coming off of a big week when most of the state, not all, but most, will be on spring break that week of the 5th through the 9th. So staying off the beginning and ending of that big spring break week is something we tried to do. We'll come back together Saturday, April the 17th at the camp in Covington. We'll do these events: agricultural sales, conduct of chapter meeting, parliamentary procedure, electrical wiring, which was already scheduled for the 17th, farm and agribusiness management, floriculture, the marketing plan, dairy evaluation, and wildlife management. At the state convention, that Saturday, April the 24th, if we are able to gather in person, as we believe that we will, we feel comfortable that these three events can be held in that day with the smaller time window that we'll have. Agricultural education, the finals, just the final four of that group, the discussion meet, and tractor operations. Finally, there are some events you did not see listed. These events will likely be virtual events held on weekdays, not Saturdays, through the semester, starting sometime March 20th, but before the convention on April the 24th. Horse evaluation, meats evaluation, poultry we've already mentioned, the creed, prepared speaking, junior and senior, extemporaneous speaking, the FFA quiz, and the employment skills events most likely are going to be held virtually on weekdays between March 20th and April 24th. We'll finalize those dates to you just as soon as we can, likely via email. Reminder that we have award applications coming due. Reminder that proficiency awards are due February the 1st, hard copy version in your region office. Remember that all signatures are electronic. You don't need to track down administrators and parents and students. We know that you're distanced in a lot of situations. All signatures on applications are electronic. Encourage you to make sure you choose the right category, and please avoid plagiarism. Avoid copying from other applications directly on those proficiency award applications. National Chapter Award and Agri-Science Fair, also due into the region office in hard copy form. These are due March the 29th. Signatures are electronic on those as well. Again, avoid plagiarism. Avoid copying direct applications from student to student. Have each student do their own work, explain their own experience. We are looking for teachers who may be interested in helping judge National Chapter and Agri-Science applications. Contact the State FFA office. I'd love to hear from you if you think that you would be willing to be a judge for those award applications. State degree and STAR applications, due to the region office in hard copy form, March the 1st. Make sure that those students apply through the application manager just like they would for proficiencies. In American degrees, the state degrees and the STARs are available in the online application manager. Students will need their MyFFA account in order to do that. Encourage you to remember the A in SAE, Supervised Agricultural Experience. For a student to earn that state FFA degree, that SAE needs to be agricultural in nature. Encourage you to keep that in mind. Community service, remember that is meeting a need of something or someone else besides an event that the student is involved in or a group the student's involved with. STAR categories, remember to apply for those students that you think have outstanding SAEs in a STAR category. Remember that agribusiness is ownership and production, but not the ownership and production of animals and food products and commodities. That belongs in the STAR farmer category. Some final updates I want to share with you. We're having a Rise Above conference in February of this year, February 27th, at the FFA FCCLA Center. In the past, you would have seen a Green Hand Jamboree and a Success Conference simultaneously. We're going to have one event. It's going to be called the Rise Above Conference for all high school students 9 through 12, like we've done with the Discovery Conference. We're selling tables per chapter, 5 seats at each table. As many people as you can bring, you're buying a table for your chapter, and those students will sit with who they traveled with and will not intermingle. We'll do our best to keep everybody safe. Mask will be mandatory. We hope that you'll sign up. Look for information from Mr. Andy Paul about that. But the Rise Above Conference is something we're excited to offer to your students at the end of February at the camp in Covington. I regret to inform you that the Washington Leadership Conference has been canceled for 2021. That's a national FFA decision in an effort to keep people safe, so we will not take a Georgia bus trip because that event has been canceled for this summer. I ask that you consider calling upon the state FFA officers for virtual chapter visits and banquets through the rest of this year. They would love to interact with your students, would love to engage with what you're doing as a chapter, and if that means virtually, they're prepared to do that, so I hope that you'll call on them. Final reminder I want to give to you, by the time that you're hearing this video, you will have seen a list of teachers who are serving on revision committees to look at all of our state CDE, LDE, and award guidelines. It's a revision year. Every 3 years we go through that process. You're going to see the list of your peers who are on those committees. One thing we're doing different this year, those committees will meet virtually in February and March. And by the early part of March, every teacher is going to see for public review the recommended changes of CDE guidelines. You'll get a chance to offer your feedback and thoughts. And in May, those events will be finalized. And when you start the new school year, we'll know what the new guidelines are going to be for the next 3-year period. Ag teachers, I want to thank you again for the work that you do every day. Our office is here to serve you. We're really proud of the opportunity that you provide to your students. Hope that you'll call on us if we can help you. Keep working hard. Keep putting your students first. And I hope that you and your families remain safe. God bless all of you, and thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Lastly. Now for tonight's business. The business session will come to order. The parliamentarian for tonight will be Mr. Rick DeBose. There's a lot of business to cover tonight, and we will need to approve our minutes and our committee reports and conclude with old and new business. There's a poll up for you to vote on approval of the minutes and committee reports, and Mr. Marcus Pollard and Dr. Parks are monitoring the voting. Once a majority vote has been reached, I will announce the outcome of the vote. I will now call upon Executive Secretary, Mr. Justin Bennett, to read the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The minutes of the 2020 Summer Leadership Conference business session were emailed out to all agriculture teachers on Monday. I hope that you have taken a moment to reflect on the business of this conference.
Thank you, Justin. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
This is Cecily Gunter from Newton College and Career Academy, and I move to accept the minutes as written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will now vote on approval of the minutes by voting with the online poll. Please use the online poll to vote now. The motion to accept the minutes as read passes by a majority vote. Mr. Bennett will now deliver the finance and membership reports.
The balance sheet for the current year as of January 13th was emailed out to all teachers this week. We have a net balance of $243,715.67 in our accounts. There is a total of $34,397 in outstanding checks that have been written and mailed but not cashed, including the second installment of $27,500 to Hall Booth Smith for our PRC efforts. The taxes for the previous year have also been filed. We'll now take a look at this year's membership report. The GVATA membership report for the current year was compiled on January 13th. Our statewide membership total is 513 teachers out of 537, giving a statewide membership rate of 95.5%. There are also 62 student members, which is an increase of 12 members from the previous year. I encourage each of you to take time to review this data and pay your dues if you've not already done so, as Georgia is known as a 100% GVATA NAAE dues paying state each year. Mr. President, this concludes my report of the financial and membership reports.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. We will now hear from our GACTI representative, Mr. Lonnie Giddens.
Hey everybody, Lonnie Giddens here, your GACTI Vice President. I just want to make a few quick remarks about GACTI. First off is our summer conference will be July 14th through the 15th this summer, so pretty much right after GVATA. If you can make it, great. We'd love to see you there. It is still scheduled to be in person at this moment, but we all know that can change. Next thing is, if you have any questions about joining GACTI, just let me know. Shoot me an email, give me a call, text, whatever. Hopefully I can answer those questions. And the thing about joining is, in our system, our CTAE department pays for it. It comes out of CTAE funds. So talk to your CTAE director. So, because I don't pay a dime to join GACTI or go to summer conference for GACTI. And I know this year with COVID and everything, we haven't been traveling as much. So we actually have a surplus in our CTAE funds. So maybe that's the case in your school system, and maybe they have a little bit more to spend, where in years past they couldn't afford to register for GACTI. So just ask, and doesn't hurt to see. My last thing I want to say is thanks to those GVATA members that are GACTI members and serve on committees. We appreciate that, and let me know if y'all have any questions too. But that's all I got. I hope everybody enjoys the conference, this virtual conference, and I'll see y'all around.
Thank you, Mr. Giddens. Mr. Darrell Baxley, our PRC chairman, will give our PRC report.
First of all, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to PRC. Your contributions make it possible for us to have somebody like Mr. Joel Mackey to represent us in Atlanta. Just a couple of things on PRC. First and foremost, we know that we're going to be focused on extended day, extended year, and the fact that any new programs that come on, we want to make sure that we have adequate funding for the extended day, extended year. There will be other initiatives that you'll hear about throughout that we will be focused on, but first and foremost to be extended day, extended year, and then being able to fund the new programs. Before I close, I do want to ask you to make sure that you know your legislator. We say that all the time, and I don't know that we follow through, but it is imperative at this time that everyone not only knows who their representative and senator is, but their representative and senator knows who they are. So let me encourage you once again to do whatever it takes. Don't just invite them to a banquet, invite them into the classroom, invite them to meetings, but make sure that you can call on them if you need to, and make sure that when we call on them, they know who you are. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or any of your area PRC representatives.
Now for the Tactical Plan Committee reports. There are 6 committees that met during the month of December. Here are the committee reports. Joshua Rogers is representing the Professional Membership and Relations Services Committee.
Hello, I am Joshua Rogers, and I serve as the committee chairperson for the Professional Membership and Relations Services Committee. The committee members included Audrey Pickren, Sabrina Davis, Meredith Arrington, Melissa Webb, Ashley Denton, and Kate Buchanan. The following recommendations from the committee are to enhance the dates. We are updating the dates from 2020 to 2021. Those particular areas are item 2, where it addresses contacting ag ed professors at the various colleges by April 2021, and also where it is the region coordinators assisting area directors by a date or on a date of August 1st, 2021. That concludes our report. Thank you.
This report comes in the form of a motion and has an implied second. Is there any discussion on the report? Seeing none, we will vote on approval of this report with the online poll. Please vote now. The Professional Membership and Relations Services Committee report passes by majority vote. Casey Preeb is representing the Professional Improvement and Program Development Committee.
I, Casey Preeb, served as the committee chairman of the Professional Improvement and Program Development Committee. Committee members include Shane Moore, Faith Patrick, Lisa Bolts, Lisa Murphy, and Ashley White. The committee recommends no changes other than updating the dates to reflect the current year.
Thank you, Casey. This report comes in the form of a motion and has an implied second. Is there any discussion on the report? Seeing none, we will vote on approval of this report with the online poll. Please vote now. The Professional Improvement and Program Development Committee report passes by a majority vote. Cecily Gunter is representing the Professional Leadership and Service Committee.
I, Cecily Gunter, served as the committee chair of the Professional Leadership and Service Committee. Committee members included Ginger Jarjura, Joey Temperley, and Veronica Sanders. The committee makes the following recommendations. All the dates are updated to reflect the upcoming year. For Ways and Means, name and recognize a state winner in the NAAE Outstanding Young Member Award, Outstanding Middle Secondary Agricultural Education Program Award, Outstanding Post-Secondary Adult Agricultural Education Program Award, Outstanding Agricultural Teacher Award, Ideas Unlimited Award, and Teacher Turn the Key Award. We strike Activity 1 to now read, nominate NAAE award category applicants through the use of Google Docs. And under the same, we strike the following on Activity 6, and through name badge identification with stickers, ribbons, and pins. Finally, for Ways and Means, purchase and award NAAE jewelry, jackets, caps, ribbons, stickers, certificates, and plaques for GVATA award and recognition programs. We strike through jewelry, jackets, caps, ribbons, stickers, certificates. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecily. This report comes in the form of a motion and has an implied second. Is there any discussion on the report? Seeing none, we will vote on approval of this report with the online poll. Please vote now. The Public Relations and Communications Committee report passes by a majority vote. Lacey Powell is representing the Public Relations and Communications Committee.
I'm Lacey Powell, and I served as the committee chairman of the Public Relations and Communications Committee. Committee members include myself, Ashley Rivers, Chloe Jackson, Dixie McCarty, Jessica Bowden, and Carmen Bennett. The committee makes the following recommendations. Change all dates to show the current year of 2021. In the first Ways or Means, change the number on the second step from a number 1 to a number 2. Under Improved Effective Communication between national, state, regional, and area levels of membership, change step number 6 wording to read, have each area director encourage their area members to attend Region 5 conference with travel the responsibility of their local school system. And last, under recognized sponsors of GVATA activities, we recommend adding and or virtual presentation time under number 1 so that it reads, provide invitation, space, and or virtual presentation time for vendors at summer conference. Thank you.
This report also comes in the form of a motion and has an implied second. Is there any discussion on the report? Seeing none, we will vote on the approval of this report with the online poll. Please vote now. The Public Relations and Communications Committee report passes by a majority vote. Sarah Nerswick is representing the Governmental Relations and Legislative Involvement Committee.
I, Sarah Nerswick, served as the committee chairperson for the Government Relations and Legislative Involvement Tactical Plan Committee. Committee members also included Catherine Bell, Luke Lineberger, Lee Bratton, Blaze Bridges, Alex Chisholm, and Walt Parks. The committee makes the following recommendations. Strike the letter S out of the end of the word encourage in the purpose statement of this tactical plan. 2, add the month of March and ongoing to the completion dates for encouraged participation in ag awareness activities on the state and local levels. Add a 5th activity to the ways and means of contacting state legislators that reads, provide thank you notes and a template letter for all ag teachers and state staff to complete at the Summer Teachers Conference. Responsible party being GVATA Board and completed at Summer Conference. And finally, add the words chapter and state to the first activity under the ways and means of informing legislators of FFA and young farmer programs. Also add the FFA Foundation and change local teacher to read local ag teacher to parties responsible for this activity. Thank you.
Thank you. This report comes in the form of a motion and has an implied second. Is there any discussion on the report? Seeing none, we will vote on approval of this report with the online poll. Please vote now. The Governmental Relations and Legislative Involvement Committee report passes by majority vote. James Hunter is representing the Professional Research and Development Committee.
I, James Hunter, served as the committee chairman of the Research and Development Committee. Committee members include C.J. Pinson, Pauline Benton, Maggie Reeves, Melanie Dormany, Ryan Smith, and Stephanie Summerlin. The committee makes the following recommendations. Under the Ways and Means, Line 1, the campuses of UGA, UGA Tifton, Fort Valley State, ABAC be included. Under the Ways and Means, Line 2, those responsible was amended to be UGA, UGA Tifton, Fort Valley State, ABAC, Ag Ed staff. Under the Ways and Means Committee, Line 4, the following was added. The Georgia FFA State Convention, Summer Camp to the Activity section. Line 5 of the Ways and Means Committee, updated annually in July, was moved from the Activities line to the Completion date. Line 5 of the Ways and Means, those responsible should read UGA, UGA Tifton, Fort Valley State, ABAC, Ag Ed staff, FFA Executive Secretary, and Curriculum Coordinator. Line 5, Ways and Means Committee, those responsible now reads UGA, UGA Tifton, Fort Valley State, ABAC, Ag Ed staff, and Collegiate FFA chapters. Ways and Means Activities, Line 1, ABAC was added. Ways and Means under Responsible, Lines 1 and 3 reads UGA, UGA Tifton, Fort Valley State, ABAC, Ag Ed staff. Under Ways and Means, the following was added. Create a mentor-mentee program designed to help new teachers connect with veteran ag teachers who teach similar subjects. Breakout sessions to be held at Summer and Midwinter Conference for these groups to collaborate, with the following being responsible. State Ag Ed Staff Recruitment and Retention Coordinator, and this should be done annually. Under the Ways and Means, the following was added. During yearly evaluation, a portion of the meeting will be dedicated to the concerns of the educator. The concerns will be compiled into an anonymous list and examined to see what may need attention. Those responsible are Ag Ed region staff, and this is to be completed annually. Thank you.
Thank you, James. This report comes in the form of a motion and has an implied second. Is there any discussion on the report? Seeing no discussion, we will vote on the approval of this report with the online poll. Please vote now. The Governmental Relations and Legislative Involvement Committee report passes by a majority vote. I want to remind everyone that region meetings will begin following this business session. Does any member know of any old or new business that should properly come before this group? Seeing none, I now declare this meeting adjourned.